let's talk about injuries real quick, and then we'll take a break. Okay. Now, first off, in Atlanta, sorry, Brig, I think we talked about you starting. I'm going to go ahead and start. So in Atlanta, you've still got Ozzie Albies out with the foot. He's expected to be out until at least August 19th. Can you imagine how dangerous this team is going to be when he gets back?
Bro, no, it's going to be ugly.
They could be the first team to repeat in this century.
They could.
Because they're scary right now. They're scary. But that's really their big one. You still got Adam Duvall. You got Adam Duvall out for the season. That was actually from just this weekend they updated that. And then Mike Soroka is expected to come back in September. He could because he retore that Achilles at the beginning of the year. If I'm a Braves fan, I'm like, put him in the pen and have him be nails from there because I don't want him starting and being out there any longer than he has to be. But, man, having that dude as a setup man or a closer, it's trouble.
Total trouble.
Yeah. All right.
Let's move on to Boston. I'm going to jump all the way down to Boston because they're on a historically bad stretch. And while that brings me a certain amount of joy, it also brings me a tremendous amount of pain because it degrades the overall product that we have on the field. And honestly, it takes away from the competition. But at the end of the day, I still like to see guys getting hurt. I don't care who you play for. So a couple of noteworthy ones. Rafael Devers expected to be back tomorrow morning or this morning if you're listening in the morning with a hamstring thing. It was kind of a one-day deal. We'll see how that goes. The big one is Trevor Story. He's got a wrist injury. Didn't they say it was a hairline fracture, stress fracture, something like that? They're still trying to figure out what it is. So he's not expected back till the 23rd at the earliest of August. It's not really going to matter at that point, depending on – I mean, some things would have to be nuts for any of this to matter for the Red Sox. But this gets into their trade, play because Christian Vasquez got traded – and we'll talk about this in a minute. But he got traded tonight.
Right before the game, playing against
literally
Houston, got traded to Houston.
Yes, he walked into Minute Maid Park and basically walked to the other clubhouse. It was insane. You should see if you haven't the interview. They pulled him out on the field. He was warming up, ready for the game to get ready for the game, and dude was in shock. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. It was insane.
Yeah. Somebody asked him about it. They're like, how's it feel to get traded? He didn't know what to say.
Yep. And then Chris Sale, his finger's still broken. September 15th at the earliest. So
that dude cannot catch a break.
I feel so bad.
I'm going to jump on down to the Chicago White Sox real quick. We got Joe Kelly is out with biceps injury. I think it was biceps tendonitis. So that's just a rest injury. Come back and he should be fine. Luis Robert is out with a concussion, I believe. They're expecting him to be out at least until Wednesday. He could come back after that. But honestly, if I'm the White Sox, I'm like, dude, just rest up and get healthy as long as you need because that sucks so bad. So bad. The Mariners saw Kyle Lewis out for like a month with a concussion.
Yeah.
So
it's terrible.
Do whatever it takes to get back.
This is not the team I'm picking to talk about, but Chris Bryant is still out. The end. Okay.
It's been out all year.
I know.
It's got 5 at bats?
Something like that.
Might take the under on that.
Houston. I'm going to jump down to Houston. The Lance McCullers. He is expected back August 12th. That's a big fat rut row, but it is a forearm. So if we're not really careful, then we might not be able to have Lance McCullers even through September. We don't know. That's just one of the things that leads to big time elbow stuff is what they call it, forearm. Other than that, they're pretty good. Michael Brantley is expected back August 15th as well, but honestly, nobody's really worried about the rest of Houston.
Yeah. So the Dodgers have significant injuries. They've got a whole laundry list that's taking up almost my entire screen here. Got Dustin May coming back from Tommy John. They're thinking he's going to be out at least until August 12th. He could come back. If he comes back to the home stretch, look out. Same thing with Walker Buehler is expected to be out at least until the middle of September. If they get him back for a postseason run, Dodgers will be dangerous.
Oh, for sure.
those are both big time. Chris Taylor is expected to come back next week. Justin Turner is expected to be out until at least the middle of this week. That's an abdominal injury. So I feel like those can be tricky. Like he might come back and then find out that it's not quite ready. So that's something to keep an eye on with Justin Turner. But at the same time, though, it seems like the Dodgers have really figured things out recently.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. Maybe they just tell those guys, take your time getting healthy because we're good for now.
What a life. Okay. How it must be nice. That's all I have to say.
Must be freaking nice.
Must be freaking nice. Milwaukee's biggest one, at least as far as I'm concerned, is Freddie Peralta. He's still expected to be back August 5th, but this is a rest injury as well. Do you have anything else in Milwaukee that really bothers you, Brad? I don't.
As far as injuries go?
Yeah.
No, but we can get into that. We'll get into them later, so we'll hold off.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there's other things that are related to it, but I just don't want to miss anything.
The Twins have I feel like they have the most injuries out of everybody right now.
Their entire A and B teams are out.
I know they've got a 40-man roster on the injured list right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Kenta Maeda is probably the most notable though. Like honestly, Miguel Sano is out with a knee injury, but that's one of those things where he'll be back. Max Kepler's got a toe injury. That was weird when that happened. But he'll be back soon. But other than that, Carlos Correa's back. So at that point, I'm just and they've got Buxton has been able to stay healthy. That's the big thing.
Buxton's awesome, dude.
One of the biggest reasons that they've been able to win because that dude's outstanding, absolutely unreal.
So now we got to go down to the Mets because John Curtis is out for the season, as he's one of their right-handed pitchers. Both Smiths, Dominic and Drew, are out until August 6th for Dominic, August 17th for Drew. But then James McCann, he should be on his way back. He had an oblique thing July 28th, rather. Should see him back August 4th. This hurt me fantasy-wise, by the way. Jacob deGrom expected not only to come back today on August 2nd, but he's taking the hill on his first day back. So I need this to be – this has to be good because he's on my fantasy starting roster as of this morning.
So there's a couple of Yankee injuries. Fill me in if I'm missing anything significant here, though, Brig, because I got Luis Severino, who's supposed to be out until September, middle of September with a lat injury. That is a big one. Giancarlo Stanton, who's having an outstanding year, by the way.
Yeah.
He found out where Yankee Stadium is, and he hasn't left.
No, he hasn't left.
But he's got an Achilles injury. He's expected to be out until at least August 8th. Do you know anything more about that, Brig, as far as what's going on with him? Have you heard anything from John and Susan, our friends?
No, our friends John and Susan haven't told me anything. I do have an update about John and Susan I'll tell you about later. But
excellent. Very good. I'm looking forward to it.
Ultimately, no. No still Parlos in the Bronx right now, though.
No, definitely not.
Problem.
Nope. But I mean, we could go on for days with injuries. Like there are guys who, like Bryce Harper, obviously still out. Yeah. Supposed to be out. It says that he's expected to be out until at least August 20th, but I don't think we're going to see him until September at the earliest. Brian Hayes is out for the Pirates. Probably a big reason, like a big part of their drop to last place in their division because the Reds are no longer in last place in the NL Central. Good for them. Congratulations. Yeah, I want to jump down to Seattle, though, Brig.
Yeah.
The Mariners have got a long list of injuries right now. So Taylor Trammell's been out for a long time. Like for a lot of you, that might not be a significant name, but for Mariners fans, it is because it really cuts into the depth. It's like, beginning of the season, it was like, the outfield is so deep. So deep. Like, what are we going to do? Well, they're all hurt. Every single one of those guys is hurt right now. Like Kyle Lewis is still not fully healed from his knee injury from last year. He goes out there and he hits a home run against Domingo Germán tonight. But at the same time, though, he hits a ball to shortstop and he's basically walking to first base because you can tell his knee's bugging him. So he's DHing. He's not in the outfield. But then you've got Dylan Moore, who left the game the other day with back spasms. Mitch Haniger has played in a handful of games this year because he got COVID and then he rolled his ankle. He should be back next week, I hope. He's finishing up his rehab assignment. Yeah. And that's one of the problems is that Haniger is such a great player. He's a big-time leader on the team, but, man, the dude is hurt so much. Julio Rodriguez got hit in the wrist, and there was no structural damage or anything, but they're going to take a bat out of his hands for a few days because he's he's ambitious. I don't know. I don't know if that's the word, but it's hard to keep him off the field. You have to protect him from himself, so they actually put him on the IL so he can't do anything.
And then
the
word you're looking for is ambidextrous.
Or amphibious. I don't know.
Amphibious. That's what it was. I was so close. Samsonite.
And then you've got Diego Castillo, who goes out there and he's throwing like 93 in his fastball. It's like, what's going on? Oh, his shoulder is hurt, so he's out until like another couple weeks. Like, man, team has been. Oh, and then Sam Haggerty. This is like one of the funniest injuries I've ever heard of, Brig, in my entire life. So he goes out there and he tries to lay down a bunt against the Astros, and he doesn't get it. He gets 2 strikes on him for some reason. He continues to try to lay down the bunt. He misses, strikes out. Well, he's mad at himself, frustrated, so he goes into the dugout and he spikes his helmet. And anybody who has ever spiked a helmet knows if you hit that thing just right on the crown, it's going to spring right back up at you. And he got hit in the forehead with the helmet and needed stitches.
Oh my God.
So he's on the injury list. He's not on the IL, but he's on the injury list. He's not starting any games right now, but they're like, you can come in like pinch hit if you need to, or pinch run.
Yeah.
The dude's fast. Like, he's one of the fastest guys in the league, hands down.
That's awesome.
So like, he can go out there and pinch run, but they're not going to let him start any games right now. And it's funny because I heard that happen, and Jewel, our friend, he's my co-host with the Seattle Baseball Together podcast, he goes, "What happened?" I explained it to him. I was like, "I can tell you exactly how it happened because I've had it happen to me. I have a tiny little scar between my eyes on the bridge of my nose from a helmet.
Oh man,
popping back up and hitting me right on the nose.
It's crazy.
So, it could be bad news, Bears.
Let's jump into St. Louis. Is worth talking about really quick because Jack Flaherty's out till August 26th. Yadi Molina with his knee. He's an old guy. That's why it says knee. And he's expected to be back August 2nd today, this morning, whatever. So everything else is fine. Harrison Bader is coming back midway through August. So everything's fine there. Tampa Bay, though, is a MASH unit as well.
Another 40-man roster on the injured list.
It's crazy, including Mike Zunino and Kevin Kiermaier. Those are 2 names I want you to keep in mind because they're going to come up in just a minute when we talk about trades. But ultimately, those are the 2 ones that are huge. Obviously, Andrew Kittredge being out for the season since July 27th as well was entirely unexpected and is not good. But this is their 4th player out for the season since the season started, I guess. But 3 of them occurred in July.
Yeah.
In the last
when Wander Franco is out until toward the end of August with a wrist.
I know. Injury. I had to dump him too. Gosh, damn it.
So
it's so bad.
And you know what? I think that it's finally going to catch up with the Rays.
Yep. This is it.
I think that's it.